Hello and welcome for the relearning for G 3.3 for corresponding angles. All right, so for this standard, we talk a lot about congruency and putting things together. So the congruent, we need to make sure we know exactly what that means. And it means exactly equal. Exactly equal. And that's what we're talking about, equal in every way, shape, or form. So when we talk about angles, the degrees are equal. When we talk about lengths, the lengths are equal. Now the corresponding parts are, if we have two triangles here, it's the angles that match up. They match up. So we have matching sides or angles. So they're in one is in one triangle, one is in the other. And it has to be, they can't be in the same triangle, they're in two different triangles. So when we do this, we have the characteristics when comparing congruent figures. They have the same size and shape. So they don't change, they don't shrink, they don't get bigger, they don't do anything like that. They're exactly the same. But they have matching sides and angles when they're congruent. So if you can see this right here, there are two different shapes, but they're like twins. And then here, these are not the same because this, even though they have the same shape, they're different sizes. So they can't be the same. And they're not congruent. These are not congruent. Okay, so let's take a look at what is a congruency statement. Now remember that a congruent symbol is an equal sign with a little squiggly on the top. And that means that they're equal in every way, shape, or form. But we're looking at more than just the number. We're looking at the whole figure. So looking at in here, we have some markings. We have a marking here and a marking here. So we can say the angle F is congruent to angle J. Regardless of what the picture looks like, the markings rule complete. So we're looking at G has two markings. So we're going to look at angle G is congruent to angle K. And then we have angle H is congruent to angle H. See, look at right here. For this, H can go both ways. It's our vertex. We're listing things by our vertex. So we have an H for this triangle right here, and we have an H for this one here, but we can see that they're vertical angles, so they are congruent. Now going right down the line, we can say that triangle FGH is congruent to triangle JKH. So we just match those right up. F is congruent to J, G is congruent to J, and H is congruent to H. We can simplify this whole thing by writing a congruency statement. So given in this one, we have a congruency statement. And it's asking us to name three pairs, because we have a triangle, so there's going to be three pairs of congruent sides and angles. So let's do the angles first. Angle A is first, that is congruent to what's first over here, angle K. Angle U is congruent to angle, second one is A. And angle S is congruent, the second one here is angle P. Okay, so we've got those right down the line. So they're pretty easy. A is first, K is first, U is second, A is second, S is third, P is third. Okay, so let's take a look at the line segments. How would we do the line segments? Now we know what a line segment has 2 points. Let's remember, line segment has 2 points. So we need to do 2 points in each one. So we're going to have, let's do the first two. So we have 2 points right here. AU is congruent to KA. Okay, that makes sense. First two, first two. Let's do the next easiest one. So we have 2 on the other side. We have US, and then we have AP. Okay, those are 2 line segments. Now the third one is the trickiest, but we have to do the first and the last and the first and the last. So we have AS is congruent to KP. And these are all line segments. We have to have our line segment notation on top, and we have our congruent statement in between. First two, last two, first and last, first and last. And that's how we get our information from our congruency statement. Now looking at over here, we're going to use the information to see what we have. We're going to use the information to see what we have going on in our problems, because finding the information and using them are almost two sides of the same coin. So looking at in here, we can see with our mind's eye that if this is a right triangle, then this one has to be a right triangle too on the other side. If this is a right triangle, then this one has to be a right triangle. These are supplementary angles and they add to 180. What we're looking at in here is we're given a congruency statement. It's almost like a roadmap for what we're doing. So we're going to say and list them down. Angle V is congruent to angle U. V is first, U is first. Angle W is congruent to angle W. And then we have angle T is congruent to angle T. Oh, okay. So let's make sense of what we have in here. Let's see. So we have angle W is congruent to angle W. That's our right here. That's our W is right here. And then our other W is right here. Well, look at that. Just like what we made sense earlier from the picture is that these are both 90-degree angles. That makes sense to us. So we're looking at this angle is T right here, and this is angle T for the other one. So these two are the same. So what do we know about that? Angle T going for the top triangle is also called angle 1. And then the bottom one is angle T for the bottom triangle, and that gives us a number. It's 30 degrees. So this must be 30 degrees because the top angle must equal the bottom angle. So if this is 90 and this is 30, we can see that the measure of this angle right here on the bottom must be 60. We know that two different ways. We know that V lines up with U. They are the same. This one says 60, this one says 60. We also know that 90 plus 30 plus 60 is 180, and that gives us our value right here is 60 for our angle 2. So looking at this one right here is our congruency statements. We are given nothing about the angles. We're giving everything about the sides. So it's a little trickier. So let's look at here. We have ED is right here. ED. So ED is the first two, right? First two. So that is congruent to the first two right here, A, B. So if ED is Y, that is equal to AB, which is right here, 15. So AB, ED is Y, so Y is 15. Oh, hooray, we've got our first answer. So now we have over here EF, and I'm going to do a dotted line right there. So we have EF. EF is our first and our last, so it has to be equal to our first and our last here. Our first and our last here is right here. So we have 5x minus 21 is equal to 10. We solve this equation, 21 plus 21, 5x equals 31, divide by 5. X equals 6 1/5. 5 into 31 goes 6 times with a remainder of 1. There's our remainder of 1 in our fraction. So this is 6 1/5. You could have done it with a calculator, and I think you would get 6.2. So you have to figure things out to put things together. Now I just want to review something for the U-try as I was looking at this. EFI. So we start with our triangles. EFI. This is this angle right here. EFI is this angle right here. It is the formal name for that. If we were to shortcut it, this would also be called angle F. Just a little hint to you. So we want the formal name right here. the 3 letters for our angle. We could call, this is our vertex, is in the middle with F. All right, good luck. When you're done, show me the U try, and then we will move on to the reassessments.